Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, affectionately known as the mayor of Hounds Town USA. The Dish on Dogs, is, as the name implies, it's all about dogs, dog behavior, dog business, how to run doggy daycares, how to, sometimes we talk behaviorally about dogs. We do actually talk behaviorally a lot about it. So if you're listening for the first time, go back and we have a library of shows that I think not all are interesting to everyone, but you should find something. If your dog is chewing your house right now, or you just got a COVID dog and you're so fed up you want to return them back to the shelter, watch some of our episodes regarding dog behavior. One thing I have to tell you, if you want to watch this, we want you to watch it live. This way you really get a sense of how good looking I am. So, because my voice, I've been told I have a great face for radio. Now I want to see if I have a great face for podcast. So you watch us on Facebook, and in Facebook, it's the Dish on Dogs. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Dish on Dogs podcast. It has a lot of stuff, a lot of content. So we have a lot of ways to follow us, and we'd like feedback to let us know what we should be talking about. Sometimes we talk about the business of franchising. People say we want to hear more about dog behavior and so forth. So today, joining me, this is an exciting show for me. Joining me today is one of my most faithful and long-term employees. We're going to talk up to my associate here, Danielle. Janice. I got that right?
You got that right.
All right, I got it right. After how many years?
7 years, you got it right.
This young lady has been working with us at Hounds Town for 7 years. She started when she was 17 years old. And what's important to me, for people listening, we all have relatives, children, family members, and we know somebody that's 17 years old, and they're usually a little bit, they get a little sideways in their lives, and they don't really know what they want to do. If you ask somebody, when they're 10 years old what they want to be, they might want to be a cop or a fireman or an airline pilot. By the time they're 15, they want to be something else. So the reason that I'm excited to have Danielle here, she started with us at 17. I'm not sure. Well, let me welcome Danielle to the show. Welcome to the show, Danielle.
Thank you.
So before I blabber along, talk about, you came to Hounds Town when you were a mere pain in the ass teenager. So you came, what was that journey like? You came here, talk about that.
Yeah, so when I was 17, I was just like the typical 17-year-old teenager. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted something to do with animals because my entire life I just love animals. So I knew eventually I would want to have something to do with animals. So one of my friends actually worked in the Farmingdale location, and she told me to apply here. So I just came, I applied. I didn't know what to expect of it, or if I should expect anything. And then I got the job, and 7 years later, here we are.
so that's interesting to me. And the reason I want to talk about this a little bit more in depth is that a lot of times, parents and relatives, they try to pound into people's head, go to school, you got to do this, you're not, so at 17 years old, I know, adults sometimes try to push people in directions that they're not comfortable with. So, and of course, you're 17, you're applying at a doggy daycare, you probably had no idea what the job entailed. I had no idea
what it was. I'd never even heard of doggy daycare in my life before I applied, so I really did not know what to expect.
Right. So the good news is, at some point in your life, you had a friend. That's how
you
okay. So you had a friend. So that was good that you had a human friend that got you here. So then you came here, and for us at Hounds Town, so you said here we are in 2020. You are like such an integral part of our business. Tell us about that journey. You come in, you're basically a pooper scooper, right? That was so what was that experience like? I'm assuming it was part-time.
So I started very part-time. I barely worked any hours because I was actually still in high school when I started. So I could only work like after 4 o'clock when I got out of school. So I started very part-time, just at the bottom of the chain, just being a kennel attendant. And then gradually I tried to go to college for a little bit. That didn't work out. So I just moved up and I became a shift runner. And then like I really enjoyed being a shift runner. So then I got a promotion to assistant manager and then to manager. And then now I go out and train other locations, other franchisees. So
right. So that should be really, to me, it's an inspiring story because that's really what I like to see, because I, kind of similar to you, I quit school, frankly, when I was 16. I didn't fit in. I've been, academically, I have all kinds of little, as you can see, the brain here. I have certain things going on. Now they call it ADD, attention deficit disorder, but it's a real thing. So for me, my experience when I was 16, people are telling me to pay attention, work harder, and I couldn't pay attention. This was not my thing. So the academic path, I couldn't do. I couldn't do what other people were doing. Frankly, now they have a big name for it. People just will smack me in the back of the head and just say, pay attention, do your homework, and that was the end of it. There was no matter what, I was doodling, I was so distracted. Make a long story short, I think some people that don't take that academic path and are like you said, as long as it had to do with animals, and there's a connection I think certain people have. I know I do. I can't speak for you, but there's a connection to animals for those of us who are deep thinkers or analytical, and So when you say I wanted to work with animals, you came here. But when I interview new employees, they say I love dogs, and my response is, well, do you love picking up dog shit? Because that is the role of, you call it a what was
kennel
it?
attendant.
Kennel attendant.
You're
it's
mainly just
scooper.
picking up poop.
It's a pooper scoop. And on any given day we have 60, 70, 80, 90 dogs, so there's a lot of poop. So explain that experience. Here you come, you walk in the door, you don't know anything about doggy daycare. Obviously everybody that comes to work for us likes dogs. Most humans should like dogs, but I'm guessing if you were the typical teenager, I don't like the stereotype, but you're probably a little on the shy side. The fact that you like dogs is telling to that fact. So you came in, you're shy.
Yeah.
Let's
I was super shy when I was in high school. I still am pretty shy, but gotten a little better. But I was extremely shy. I just have gotten along better with animals than people.
I think a lot
in
of
general,
our listeners are going to relate to that. Yeah.
I was around horses when I was younger, so I had experience with that, and I've grown up with dogs all my life. So coming in here, I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to be playing with dogs all day or what the deal with that was. So I came in, and it was a lot of work, cleaning up after the dogs and everything. So I just
right. So in all honesty, and people find this surprising, including my own family, I am very shy, very introverted. And when I was your age, I couldn't talk publicly. I had such phobias that it was debilitating phobias. So I get it, and I respect that fact. And I think most people are fundamentally shy and don't like this. So for the most part. So just the fact that you're here talking, you've overcome that. So what do you think? What separates? It's a very unusual journey. You started out as a pooper scooper. 7 years later, you're literally an integral part of our training staff, where you go out and train future franchisees. How did that happen, would you think?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed just working for this company. I enjoyed everything that it was about. How we just let the dogs be dogs here. Obviously, you and Jackie are great bosses, so it just turned into something that like I could see myself doing down the line. When I first started working here, there was only 3 stores. There was only Port Jeff, Farmingdale, and Ronkonkoma. Right. So I was able to see it start to grow, which was really amazing. And once it started to grow, I knew this was something that I wanted to be a part of, because I could see the bigger picture and what it could be in the long run.
Right. So you had faith. We had faith in you for sure. And I'm sure we had some bumps in the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
were they? Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because that's another part of my problem with my human brain. Which might be good for you. But what was some of the typical, like you said, typical teenager?
Yeah, I was a typical teenager. I wanted to hang out with my friends a lot, so sometimes I would be late to a shift, or
Right.
it was a typical like teenager kind of thing, but I kind of had to work through that and grow up.
Right. So with that, right, that's great. And that's great introspection. We ask everybody out there to have some introspection, right? Myself, everybody looks in the mirror and say, what's our shortcomings? So you saw your shortcomings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, as I said, if you were late one or too many times, there have been some issues.
Yes.
And your job was probably dangling, which most teenagers is very hard to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to pick up dog shit, right?
Yeah.
When you're 17 years old and your friends are, and at Hounds Town, this is a 365-day-a-year job, Christmas, Thanksgiving. So for a 17-year-old, I'm assuming you went out and partied, right, like most people do, and you're the one that had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that to me is kind of amazing.
Yeah, so it was hard. It was definitely hard to come to work sometimes because I wanted to hang out with my friends the night before. So, but once I started getting, I think, like more responsibilities, and I kind of started just like getting my stuff together, then like I realized I have to, like, if I want this job and I want to be a part of this company, I kind of have to like get everything together. So
Right. No, that's great. And you did it, obviously, because as I said, so now you've risen in 7 short years. As the company grows, I think we have 20 locations in 11 states. We're really expanding very quickly. And you, like the company, you put your foot on the gas. You navigated through all the teenage things, then you know, all the challenges of life, and we all have challenges in our lives. We all do. So you were able to navigate through that. Now, so what would you tell people that coming into work in pet care, the normal route, the academic, almost everybody that in their early teens or late teens, or everybody's going to college, which I'm not saying it's not a great route. It certainly wasn't the right route for me. So what would you say to people that, you know, they look at working at Hounds Town or doggy daycare and they're like, oh, well.
Yeah, a lot of our employees, we hire a lot of young employees that are just straight out of high school, that they don't really know like what they want to do, so they come here and they just get a part-time job, and it's just they clean up after dogs. But there's a lot more to it than that. A lot of people don't realize that there's so much opportunity in this company to grow and to learn new things. As long as you want it and you're dedicated to it and you want to put in the extra work, then you can do it. You just have to like want it. But a lot of people kind of just don't realize that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge is especially teenagers, and there's a lot of other opportunity out there, frankly. There's technology and there's all these other things. But dogs are going to be around, I think, forever, and probably be around longer than humans are. But so there's always going to be a need for pet care. We know that as a company, we recognize that, and that's why we are moving fast forward through all the things that are happening in the world. We're not stopping. So my point is, there's an analogy here. You're the same. You came into this 17, no, what the hell's going on? But whatever you did to separate yourself, probably since you started here, we probably went through 20 or 30, 40 or 50 employees.
Yeah.
And we've all had our challenges. I think we're relatively easy because we like to nurture people into our business model. We like to give people, take their shortcomings and turn them into a positive. That's what we do with dogs, and that's what we like to do with humans. So there's a correlation between almost everything we do. So what's I don't want to say what separated you. How did you didn't know anything about anything. You didn't know about customer service.
I was afraid of customer service when I first started, because I was afraid to like talk to people, answering the phones. I was like, I didn't want to do that at all. Like I wanted to be with the dogs and only the dogs, but I mean, that's not going to really get me too far.
Right. No, it's not. Frankly, it's not.
Because you have to have customer service. You have to be able to talk to people. I kind of just had to get over my fear. I got offered to learn stuff on the computer, so I like started out with that. Now, opposed to when I first started working here, we have a lot more it's a training schedule for shift running, so it's a lot more set in stone than when it was when I was
more structured.
Yeah, it was definitely more structured now than it was when I first got hired. Right. But I kind of not got thrown into it, but they're like, "Oh, you want to do it?" And then they just kind of let me.
Right. So that's a good. It's funny you're saying all the things that you're validating all my thoughts on it. So sometimes in life, you got to work hard. You have to have a great work ethic, right? So you've proven that by getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning in snowstorms. As I said, this is not a job that you call in sick more than once or twice. Yeah. If you have a legitimate reason, obviously you call in sick. But we are an essential service. We're working through COVID right now. So you and I actually travel all over the country. We follow all the laws, right? We wear our masks. Yep. We fill out our forms. We social distance, all the things we're supposed to do. And we travel all over the country. So going from pooper scooper to really a training director, coordinator, whatever title you like, we can give you that. But you really have a great deal of responsibility. And it's shocking for me, or it's nice for me, I should say, not shocking, to sit back and watch someone develop from the very beginning. And by the way, we don't hire people as managers. We don't hire people as trainers. Everybody that works at Hounds Town has to start with a pooper scooper in their hand, no matter what. There's no receptionist. You're it. You do everything here. And the only way you can do it is starting from the ground up. So you know our business so well, and you actually run Ronkonkoma. So talk about that again. You start out of, my point is this. There's also luck involved in life, right? You got to be at the right place at the right time, and that goes for us as a business. We have to be at the right time, and you have to navigate. That's the word I like to use. Say, what should I get up in the morning and miss going out with my friends when you're 17? And now so that was the decision you made when you're 17. Obviously, you made the right one. Now you have to say, do I want to travel to Tennessee next week, to Nashville, to train people, or should I not? And that's a personal decision that you make. I can tell you, you always, anytime we've ever asked of you of anything, you always have this positive attitude, which is tremendous. And I think that's where you are today. So talk about the shyness. This is huge, right? Yeah. You didn't want to pick up a phone. I think people listening to that can relate to that. Yeah. I want to talk to customers or go tell a customer, and not only talk to them, but sometimes we have to have very straightforward
serious conversations.
Right, about their dog's behavior. Yeah. Dog's a pain in the ass. You have to nicely tell them your dog's a pain in the ass. And employee problems, which are probably more difficult, right?
Yeah, I think the employee problems are.
So that's more important, like we're talking about dogs. And you weren't really given formal training. You didn't go to business school. No. You didn't become a public speaker. You didn't do any of these things. But I like to think you were given an opportunity, for which we're very grateful that you took us up on all our offers. So now, how do you do? That's inspiring to me. We won't give away your age. I know you got a birthday coming up. Or no, that's your mother.
My mom's birthday was last week. My birthday's in 3 weeks.
Mommy. So what's the point? Yeah. So here you are. This is not like a joke job. You are traveling. No, yeah. You are taking responsibility for our franchisees that invested for many people, for many franchisees, they invested their savings into becoming a franchisee. So we go out, you go out. We have a training team that goes out. Talk about that experience.
Yeah. So for the franchisees, they first come here to the Ronkonkoma store for corporate training. It's called initial training, where they come to this facility for like about a week, I believe it is, and it's a lot of learning, a lot of seminars, some hands-on and stuff like that. After that, once they're ready to open, I come out to the facility the Wednesday before they open. They usually open on a Saturday. So I come out on Wednesday. I do some things at the facility. We do some training seminars with the staff that they hired. And then we usually open up on Saturday. And then I'm there for a little bit, and then either Sarah or Victoria or Sam will come in after me and take over for the rest of the week to kind of guide the new franchisee on how to do everything, on the daily operations of everything, just to get some more, so they're comfortable with their business since they are open now.
Right. So So this is a monumental, in my opinion, leap from pooper scooper managing humans, and they're difficult, right? Because you're managing basically people come in relatively young, teenagers and stuff,
usually
and they
right out of high school,
and they're kind of like you in a sense.
Yeah.
They gravitate towards dogs. They may be a little introverted or whatever, so they come here and they have teenage challenges. So you now have the responsibility to do that, which you've obviously done. Now, jump forward. You're going out. All of our franchisees are very passionate type A people. They come from a very academic world.
Right.
They're very smart. They got a big human brain here that analyzes data, and they come from everywhere: banking, sales, computers. I mean, the list goes on. And they're these very, I would consider them dynamic people, type A people. Now you who is an introvert that doesn't have an MBA in business, you didn't go to school for any of this. You just know your job. You know how to run a Hounds Town, from walking in the morning, turning on the lights, to every aspect, including every aspect. And you take your knowledge and you now have to not confront. Sometimes it's confrontational, right? Some of these franchisees are a pain in the ass. No, not you. It's not you. So we go out there, and they're not really, but they're adults that have these. Again, they're business people, and a
lot of them are excited. They're nervous. They don't know what to expect opening up. So we get all the emotions from them.
Right. And that's a good word. This is an emotional business to begin with dogs, right? Dogs and our customers have an emotional connection to the dog, their pet. Then they have an emotional connection to us. Now we have franchisees that come to the table fearful. So everybody has different personalities. But I guess my point is, we're going to Nashville now, so we're going to have a great grand opening in the city of Nashville, Hermitage Avenue in the city of Nashville. We're going to open that up, and we've been to Hillsdale, New Jersey. We've probably done 4 or 5 openings this year.
Yeah.
What is that? How do you keep them from bullying you around, or vice versa? How do you nurture them if they're a little on the shy side? What's that like for
I mean, some are easier than others. Some kind of just get it. It takes a lot to get this business. It takes a lot to understand the dog management part, the customer service part. It just takes a lot, but you kind of just have to like nurture them and kind of guide them. And we give them, when we go out to train them, we give them all the tools that they'll need. So as long as they just have an open mind, the franchisee and their employees just have to have open minds of what we're teaching them and having them learn, just so they could get it and be successful with their business.
So without speaking anything specifically, what's the best experience? Like, you go out, what's the best kind of personality type for you, and what's the worst?
Yeah, so the best type of personality is one that's open-minded, that wants to listen to what I have to say, that kind of takes everything I say seriously and just takes all the training that you give and that we give to them and just do it, kind of, without.
It seems like common sense.
Right.
People are paying a fortune for that kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
They're buying your knowledge, buying my knowledge. So it seems that that's a simple thing. That's your favorite. What's your worst?
The worst kind is someone that comes in thinking they know everything. We understand that you do know a lot, but
You're being very kind.
But yeah, how we do things here at Hounds Town is a lot different than how some people might have experience with other pet care facilities, or think that they have experience from just owning a dog. So what we do here is very different than what normal people would think.
Right. No, that's a good way of putting it. And we're successful at doing it. So, and again, obviously you encapsulated, we're going to wrap this up. You encapsulated exactly what I feel like. We just want a sponge. People that paid a lot of money to get involved in a Hounds Town, not a Camp Bow Wow, not a hot dog stand, which we work so hard, and I watch you work so hard, and you're so dedicated that this is not like a 9-to-5 job for you at all. And even when we're out on the road, so I can give story after story. I don't have time for it. But the point is, a franchisee is buying into a proven system, a model. Just listen to us. The problem comes in with, as I said, our franchisees universally are very intelligent, passionate, type A people. And if they have a background in computers, then they might try to tell you how to run a computer. If they have a background in, oh God, if it's dog behavior, that's a big problem.
Scary.
That's scary because we have to deprogram you. The truth of the matter is our franchisees are vetted for their lack of dog behavior knowledge because we want to mold them into so I really, it's kind of surprising to me. And then again, we just want nice people that want to be successful. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what you are, a nice person that wanted to be successful. I'm not a nice person, but I wanted to be successful. Our friend, we're all in the same boat together, and this is how we describe it. We row the boat. And I think for the, by and large, just like our customers, people respect you and they follow what you say. If there's pushback from franchisees, it's not necessary.
For the majority, everyone's always very pleasant and they take what I have to say seriously for the most part.
For the most part. So we've used a lot of references. So think of who you are out there, franchisees. Are you the nice one, open-minded, listening to this lovely lady tell you how to run a business that you probably don't know much about? Or are you the recalcitrant, truculent, abrasive, adversarial one? No, I'm teasing, right? So look in the mirror. Let's look in the mirror and see listen to us. Here we go. Talking to the microphone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So we're going to be Monday nights at 8:00. You listen to us. You get a bottle of wine, listen, and most importantly, watch. And you do that on our Facebook page, Dish on Dogs. Become a subscriber and then become part of our wacky little cult we call townies. It's a cult. We're nonviolent. We're pacifist, but we have a cult, and we're family oriented. It's a dysfunctional family. You are a dysfunctional family member. Here she is. And now look at her. She's gone from dysfunction to success at Hounds Town. So Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Dish on Dogs podcast. Follow us on
Spotify and iTunes.
Whatever they are, follow us there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Monday night at 8:00.